I thought I was about to catch my partner cheating. Instead, I uncovered something that made cheating look small. It started with a second phone. A phone they swore didn't exist. And when I finally unlocked it, everything I thought I knew about my relationship shattered. I used to judge people in AITA stories for ignoring red flags. Now I understand. You don't see red flags when you're in love. You see reasons to stay. I, 34, female, was with my partner, Evan, 36, male, for just over 7 years. We met in our late 20s, and lived together in Texas. Both working professionals. No kids. No previous marriages. Clean slates. Evan was stable. That's the word everyone used. Not flashy. Not overly romantic. Just reliable. He remembered appointments. Paid bills on time. Never raised his voice. Never disappeared for days. Never gave me that gut punch feeling people describe when something is off. We lived together for 5 of those years. Shared rent, shared groceries, shared routines. We talked about marriage eventually. Not rushed, but implied. I genuinely believed we were building towards something solid. And that's important, because nothing about Evan screamed secret life. Evan was very protective of his phone. Not aggressively so, he didn't snatch it away or freak out, but there were rules. Face down on the table. Silent mode always. Never left unattended in public. Took it into the bathroom every single time. I noticed. But I rationalized. Everyone deserves privacy. He's probably just reading the news. I don't want to be that girlfriend. This was red flag number 1. I painted it beige. The discovery itself was stupidly mundane. One night, my phone battery died while we were watching TV. Evan was in the shower. His phone was on the counter. I went to grab a charging cable from his desk drawer, something I'd done dozens of times before. But this time, the drawer stuck. I tugged harder. The drawer slid open, and there it was. A phone. Not old. Not broken. Fully intact. Fully charged. Face down. My first thought was, oh, that must be a work phone. Except Evan doesn't have a job that requires one. Then I thought, maybe it's an old backup. Except it lit up when I moved it. Unlocked. No passcode. My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it over the shower. I told myself, just close the drawer. Don't snoop. I didn't listen. I expected. Dating apps. Explicit messages. Another woman. What I found was worse. Not morally worse at first, but psychologically. The phone was organized. Too organized. Folders labeled. Logs. Schedules. Audio. Notes. No flirting. No nudes. No I miss you texts. Instead, there were recordings. Dozens of them. Dated. Timestamped. Named things like argument, kitchen, 10:42 p.m. Discussion, money, calm. Disagreement, her raised voice. I felt cold all over. I shouldn't have listened. But I did. It was us. Me and Evan. Arguing about dishes. My voice sounded normal. Frustrated, yes. Human. Then Evan's voice, calm, almost detached. But what chilled me wasn't the argument. It was what came after. At the end of the recording, Evan whispered, "She's becoming emotionally volatile. Pattern consistent." I had to sit down. The notes weren't emotional. They weren't angry. They were clinical. Entries like, raised voice, 3 times this week. Initiated conflict after work stress. Possible projection. Gaslighting attempt. Needs confirmation. About me. 4 years. This man wasn't cheating. He was studying me. I scrolled further. There were charts. Mood tracking. Conflict frequency. Correlation between my menstrual cycle and arguments. I felt violated in a way I didn't have language for yet. Then I found a folder called Legal. Inside, articles about narcissistic personality disorder. PDFs titled Documenting Emotional Abuse. Saved Reddit threads about false accusations. Guides on protecting yourself during a breakup. One document stood out. A checklist. Evidence to protect yourself if partner becomes unstable. I was shaking. This wasn't paranoia. This was preparation. I confronted Evan that night. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just asked, "Why do you have a second phone?" He didn't flinch. Didn't deny it. Didn't even look surprised. He said, "I was hoping you wouldn't find that." That sentence alone should terrify anyone. Evan said. He'd been in a toxic relationship before. He wanted to protect himself. He claimed he felt emotionally unsafe sometimes. He said documenting things was just in case. I asked, "Just in case of what?" He said, "False accusations. Manipulation. Escalation." I asked, "So instead of talking to me, you recorded me for years?" He said. That sentence rewired something in my brain. I demanded to know how long he'd been doing this. He said, "You don't respond well to feedback. Since before we moved in together." Then, casually, he added, "I did it with my ex too." That's when I realized. This wasn't about me. This was his system. Evan genuinely believed he was the reasonable one. He said, "Most men don't protect themselves like this. Courts always side with women. I can't afford to be ruined." I had never threatened him. Never screamed. Never hit. Never accused. But in his mind, I was a future risk. When I said I wanted to leave, Evan was calm. Too calm. He said, "I assumed this would happen eventually." He already had. A packed overnight bag. A plan for dividing furniture. A timeline. He even suggested, "We can do this peacefully if you don't overreact." I realized then. He had rehearsed my reaction, but not my autonomy. For weeks, I questioned everything. Was I overreacting? Was this technically legal? Was he just cautious? Friends were split. Some said, "That's terrifying." Others said, he was protecting himself. That scared me even more. I eventually spoke to a therapist. She said something I'll never forget. Documentation without consent isn't protection. It's control disguised as fear. Evan never tried to understand me. He tried to build a case against me. You must accept that cheating isn't the only betrayal. Sometimes the real danger is someone who never explodes. Never argues emotionally. Never seems reactive. Because they're not processing the relationship. They're archiving it. Some people say, "You should have talked it out. He didn't technically cheat. At least he wasn't violent." But I believe trust isn't just fidelity. It's knowing your partner isn't secretly building a psychological file on you. So, AITA for ending a 7-year relationship after finding my partner's second phone, even though he claims he was just protecting himself? Would you feel safe staying with someone who documents you like evidence, or am I overreacting? Let me know your thoughts in the comment below.